A very good morning to one and all. Welcome back. Hope you all had a wonderful weekend and is all set to begin this week with YCC 2020. It's a very special morning for us as we are all set to begin our day with our keynote speaker, who is a very special person. He's a high performance coach and also the founder director of Sports Dynamics. He has the strength and conditioning as he was the coach of the 2011 World Cup winning Indian cricket team. He is also the leading SNC coach in India with a huge experience and success rate in the field of sports and fitness. He holds many titles. First Indian SNC coach for Indian cricket team for 4 years. First Indian SNC coach to be a part of the World Cup winning cricket team, Champions Trophy and Champions League team. First Indian SNC coach to train Formula One driver Naren Karthikeyan. First Indian SNC coach for A1 GP Formula Racing India. First Indian SNC coach for Indian Rally Team, and many, many more. Sir, it's an honor to have you here. We welcome Mr. Ramji Srinivasan as our keynote speaker for the day. Sir, all yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Nikita. First of all, I like to thank Skill Labelers for inviting me, and I like to thank Mr. Ravi Kumar for inviting me. It's a great honor to be here. Fantastic opportunity to share and to experience things live on. And what we are going to talk about is professionals getting into sports field and what are the opportunities and what do you call the new way of thinking as far as sports and fitness and other professions are concerned. Let me start off with how it all began recently, the sports and fitness and people getting interested in sports and their career. And a lot of youngsters are embracing sports and the career in sports. First of all, thanks to our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, for initiating the process of Fit India movement. It all started from there. It was actually it's a catalyst to start the process rolling, which is easily said than done, especially like India, where it's a huge amount of diverse population, diverse way of thinking to bring people together for one goal. It's absolutely incredible. And also the Khelo India Games, which also acted as a catalyst for a lot of young kids and youngsters to participate in the system and develop over a period of time. So coming back to sports and allied fields, what we all look out for, which is a new trend in making as far as India is concerned, compared to the Western world, the developed countries. We are still in the process of initiating the process and protocols in place. I think we have done a good job so far. So main thing, what I've noticed over a period of last 4-5 years is loads and loads of corporates are getting into sports and allied activities, be it education, be it developing, what do you call, participating in a tournament, participating in teams, buying teams, and getting into the sports management aspect of it in a very, very professional way. That is one way of building a solid foundation for the future generation to embrace sports and its allied fields. Since beginning, I don't think sport has been and the allied field has been a biggest professional career in India because of so many reasons. You know, we were mostly docile people working mostly on our intelligence and trying to climb up the ladder through our intelligence and gray matter. And now things are changing. There is a percolation of a lot of intelligent people getting into sport, which enhances the entire ecosystem into place. Coming back to India, where the market is, how the world perceives is, it's a huge market. India is a massive market which has been totally unexplored and virgin market. I think a lot of foreign companies, a lot of multinationals are coming and setting up shops here, setting up universities here, setting up academies here, and a lot of exchange of professionals from other countries coming into India and trying to develop a new system in place. Having said that, having said that, what is it we need to look out for? As a professional, I'm a professional. When I embraced this strength and conditioning 20 years back, there was nothing available in our country. Because no certification courses was available in our country, or nothing specialized on certain aspects of fitness was available in our country. I had to go to Australia, do my course there, specialize in strength and conditioning and other things, and come back and continue my career. Okay, things have changed now. Things have changed now in a phenomenal way, and it is also a good platform for youngsters and people, those who are interested in sport, those who are actively involved in sport, those who have moved away from sport or retired from sport. That is a massive opportunity for them to give it back to the society. So in India, the problem is giving back to the society. It's more theory than practice. There are phenomenal people available there. Those who want to give back to the society, like coaches or the administrators, um, or the players. Those who are coming back and giving back to the sports and sporting fraternity. It's there are people, but still we have miles to go before we sleep. And how this can happen is developing, and lot of youngsters coming into the system, and people and the youngsters, those who are doing their or educating themselves abroad, or professionals training professional teams abroad, like Olympics team or strength and conditioning, etc., coming back to India and setting up shop and setting up system here. That is only way where you can develop a very healthy ecosystem for knowledge to be shared. Just not theory alone, it is a lot to do with practicality. One of the main things what I have noticed over a period of time is the practical aspect of approaching things as far as sporting and sporting field is concerned. And we have a huge gap to be filled between theory and practice. That can happen only when new set of ideas come and new young blood comes in into the system, so that there is a paradigm shift. Otherwise, we'll be talking theory till the cows come home, and nothing is going to happen as far as winning an Olympic medal or winning a world championship or being the top country in the world as far as sport and allied fields are concerned. We always feel that in India that we are not a sporting country. We don't have the brains. Absolutely, I don't agree with that. Because we have, again, sporting is not, people say that sport is not rocket science, and a lot of things have to be done. But nevertheless, being said, we have some of the best scientists in the world, rocket scientists. We have the best doctors in the world. We have best software engineers in the world, and program development the world. People are working in NASA to Microsoft to Google, you name it. We have Indians all over the place. Imagine the brain drain. Imagine those people put their mind into setting up the system here. I think we'll be world beaters more than China or America or Europe or Australia, with the sheer talent what we have, which has to be harnessed well. Harnessing the talent, again, is a very key component. Getting into the main performance domain, that can happen only with a group of people, a support system which is very, very well developed and very, very well supported by loads of other associates. Okay, coming back to the educational system, and what one need to do, a sports person need to do to enable their professional into the next level post, and those who are also interested in sport post their career, or actively during their career, or just starting their career. There are three different parameters one need to understand. So I have noted, I have a few points to discuss here, and I'll run through the points, which if I'm going to elaborate, it will take at least 2.5 to 3 hours for me to do it, and you may not have patience listening to me. And let me get some of the points which one need to understand in embracing or embarking into the sports and sporting ecosystem. First of all, first point is to your goal. What is your career goal? One need to understand where you stand in a scale of 1 to 10 as far as career goal is concerned, what you wanted to take, whether you are a science student or a art student or a commerce student, anything. What is your goal as far as a sporting curriculum is concerned? Very, very critical. Having said the goal, you need to have plan in place. Second point is good plan in place. You need to have a 5-year plan and long-term plan, or a 10-year plan, long-term plan, mid-term plan, and short-term goals in place, so that you know the path exactly where you are embarking on. Otherwise, it will be a shoot. Otherwise, it will be shooting in the dark, simply trying many things, and finally ending up nowhere. So have a systemized plan in place, so that you know exactly what domain you want to get into. Okay, we will talk about the domain. Massive scope is there for various domains to get into. We will talk about it, but this is just a process how one need to embark on the system in place. So once you finalize your long-term goal and mid-term goal and short-term goals, loads of things. A lot of people don't talk about what sort of personality you are. One is, some of them are extrovert, some of them are introvert. What suits you may not suit X, Y, and Z. So personality type is very important. Some are outdoor people, some are indoor people. Choosing the right option according to your personality type is very critical, because you end of the day, your passion and your eagerness to work has to be complemented very well and supplemented very well by the system. Otherwise, it can be a nightmare, sitting in being an outdoor person doing a desk job, or being an indoor person trying to interact with the teams and the team management, etc. So it can be a bit traumatic. So understanding your type, what type of personality you are, that paves a way for loads of opportunities in your thing, and avoid heartburns on a long run. So there are what do you call tests to check what type of personality type you are. You know, you have the Myers and Briggs test, and you have Casey temperament test, and if I know if I'm pronouncing it right, it's called a Jurgen type index. These 3 tests can be done for you to understand your personality, where you stand, and what sort of personality type you are, and choosing the right career in place. Because from my experience, I found couple of players, ex-players, those who wanted to know about fitness and those who wanted to know about strength and conditioning, and they embarked on it because everybody is doing it, and it is a so-called bit of a fashion to call yourself a strength and conditioning coach now, especially in current scenario, which is very good, which is, I'm very happy about it. But you have to be very mindful of the fact how much you can progress from there. And end of the day, they pass their exam, but they are not able to acclimatize themselves into the system. So they took up some other what do you call profession, the same field but some other profession. So the time is wasted, because time is money, time is everything now. So competition is increasing. If you're going to waste 2 or 3 years in just experimenting, then that can be a sore point in your career at some. So understanding your personality type is again is very critical. Having understood that, okay, I know that I'm going to do this, I'm going to take this path, and those also comes out with next point is your past experience. Whether you have been an active sports person, whether you are just a weekend warriors, or very interested in sport or following sport to the T, etc., etc. So that brings out your personal experience, and which all marries at the end of the day. All of the points will marry at the end of the day to set a clear path in your progress. And having said that, having got your past experience and your aptitude, next comes your aptitude. Some of you have an aptitude for certain sport or certain statistics, certain technical aspect of it, or working on your research, working as a sports scientist, working as a biomechanist, working as a exercise physiologist or a sports medicine expert. Aptitude plays a very key role, whether you're, as I told you earlier, whether you're a science student or you're with biology or without biology, or you're a commerce student or an art student, the aptitude is very critical. So, because one of the reasons is a better aptitude, better absorption of things, and better application on a long run. So, key point, everything is a key point, but it all works out in a ratios. And after understood your aptitude, what is your skill set? What is your soft skills, hard skills? How because certain things are not taught anywhere. There is a saying, this is not taught in Harvard, and this is not taught in Stanford. Some of the softer skills is not. It comes with experience and comes with understanding your needs. That's why initially career goals and long-term planning and aptitude, your personality type, all plays a very critical role in understanding yourself and what you wanted to do. Aptitude and skill set, again, as I told you earlier. Coming back to the next point is your specific interest. What is your specific interest? Because some of you have aptitude, as I told you the previous point, your aptitude and specific interest, you can branch off. For example, I want to become a sports medicine doctor. You can become a physician or a surgeon, and then get into specifics, whether you want to be a knee surgeon or a back surgeon or a shoulder surgeon or an ankle foot surgeon or a wrist surgeon. It varies again. So again, that brings down to a specific interest. For example, you may take up strength and conditioning as your base course, and then you can specialize on your cricket or your soccer or your shuttle or your multifarious sport, or you can do a combination, 2-3 sport together, where there are a lot of cross pollination happening in the process. So things are very, very important as far as your holistic approach is concerned. It's easier said than done. Just by point, it's easier said than done, rather than working on the nuances of it. Some of the things are not taught. It comes with experience, and there is also another way of looking. Unless and until you are taught, you will never get experience. No, you need to find a middle path where your experience, your theory and practice meets. That's where we are lacking in our country. I have seen people, those who have done PhDs and double PhDs and triple PhDs, those who can talk exercise science, biomechanics, etc., the whole day, but they are good in taking lectures. But trying ask them to transfer their knowledge onto the field, and for high performance, very few people can do it. There is a huge gap, and very, 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 very few people can, in fact, work on that. Even the coaches for some time. I mean, in many aspects, not on some aspect, I'm being very nice. I want to be very realistic in many aspects. Otherwise, as a country like India, we talk about this huge human resource, etc., we would have won Olympic medals and world championship by the pounds. So, but from 80s or 70s, I've been hearing this India is a sleeping tiger, and still we are sleeping. Nobody's waking us up, or youngsters like you should wake us up and get into the groove so that the new paradigm shift happens. Otherwise, we'll be talking one Olympic after another, just one Olympic gold and a couple of silver and bronze and other things. For a country like this, and who loves sporting action, I think we need a shift. That can happen. That can only happen with professionals coming into the system, and corporates coming into the system, and quasi-government coming into the system. So otherwise, we will be doing a lot of research papers and other things, which doesn't translate onto performance. Perform end of the day, proof of the pudding is in eating. It is the performance matters in the world scenario. So for that, you need to have a solid foundation of from education onwards, from passion to education and giving back to the society. And also, and then touching upon that is your individual values and philosophy in life. Okay, what you wanted to give it back to the society if you're seriously wanting to explore the field and giving back to the society, nurturing young talent, identifying young talent, developing the long-term athletic plan and ecosystem and process and protocols in place. You need to have a very strong philosophy, work ethics and philosophy in place, and your values. Very, very critical. You have to walk the talk rather than just keep walking or talking. Mostly we'll be talking. We are talking so far. Things have changed. Big companies like Reliance and Tata's, Mahindras, those big companies, corporate coming into the system and making it very, very professional. For example, an IPL or Kabaddi League or a shuttle league, volleyball league, etc. Corporates have come in and made it very professional. Only professional people can get into the system so that there is a high level of performance. There is accountability. In India, there is no accountability so far. And we have an inquiry commission after every Olympics that will carry on till next Olympics, next Olympics. It is a hard truth. So we need to understand those things and work with passion and work with solid work ethics and good philosophy and values in place. So one of the key component is values and philosophy in place that sets the entire tone for the system. Okay. Also, you take a passion is one thing, being realistic is another thing. These two have to marry. If you can marry your passion with being realistic, you won the battle. Okay, some of I can give a small example as myself. I had a lot of passion. I wanted to become an IPS officer initially. Then I knew I couldn't make it to IPS officer due to I got to the prelims and I couldn't do the main due to various reasons, personal reasons. Then I stuck on to my background because I had an athletic background. Got back into base fitness and then qualified myself. I was very passionate. Once I got into that, I was very passionate. And as I told you, the first point is, second point, it's a 5-year plan and 10-year plan, long-term goal. Long-term goal in 2000, I want to train the Indian team. First Indian to be training the Indian team. But people sneered and laughed at me. Then they said, next to impossible, it's totally a pipe dream. But you work towards it through passion, with your work ethics, with your values, with your philosophy, with your aptitude, and trying to put your head on the block when you're designing something, so that's when you can up the ante and become even more professional in place. Yeah, there are then rest of the history followed. What I would like to talk about a couple of other points in quick as a succession is your what do you call you should enjoy what you're doing. You should have passion. The more you enjoy, more results you start seeing. And what do you call specialization scope, very important. How if you're taking a strength and conditioning or any other domain, you should see that is you can upscale your process and protocols in place and education in place and application in place. There has to be a step of progression, specialization and progression. Don't get stuck in one aspect of domain. It'll be in a bubble, which is going to be a very difficult scene when there are equal competitors available and you are just into a bubble. Specialization is different thing. Getting into an interest in specialization and different thing, but you have to up your scale at every stage. Keep updating and updating your knowledge at every scale, at every level, and so that you remain a cut above rest. Okay, having said that, what are the things a person can take as a profession? There are massive scope, massive opportunities, massive departments where you can look up to. As one is being a fitness manager, there are more than 10 to 15 opportunities or 15 subjects which you can take according to your aptitude, according to the various points what we have discussed earlier. You can be a strength and conditioning coach, you can be a fitness manager, you can be a physiotherapist, a sports physiotherapist or a general physiotherapist. You can be a specialized conditioning coach on your agility or your pilates or your yoga or everything related to sport or specialization, and then you can branch out to specialization. Or and then you can get into sports management, which we'll be talking about it in the afternoon program. You can be a sports journalist, you can be a sports writer, you can be a sports cameraman, you can be a player's agent, you know. You can be an athletic coach, you can be a coach from your own field of expertise, you can be a nutritional sports nutrition or dietitian expert, or you can be a sports psychologist, which is a big field nowadays. Your strength and conditioning sports psychologist and your exercise physiologist or biomechanist, these three to four things are very big. We need a big market is available in the future. Also sports management, because that is going to be big, because big money, big companies are involved, big players are involved, big professionals are involved. So the scope is unlimited. You can also get into biomechanics. You can get into video analysis and data collection. You can be a statistician. You can be an umpire. You can be a education. You can be an educationist. You can start your own educational program. You can start your own certification programs. You can start your what do you call own what do you call courses. You can, provided you are professionally qualified and attach yourself to a professional university or an institution. You can open your own fitness center or a sports center. You can be an entrepreneur. Scope is huge. If you have enough money, if you have enough backup vitamin M, you can buy your own your team. You can own your team in any professional league. And finally, you can finally just a couple of more points is finally you can be a team owner, as I told you earlier. And also, if you are very smart, if you are outgoing as a what do you call extrovert personalities, you can be a sports minister. Okay, that will be a clincher on a long run. I'm sure definitely it is growing. Never see half cup empty, see half cup full. When the cup is empty, there is always a scope for it to be filled. So right now, there's not even half cup, there's three-fourths empty. There's a massive amount of space to be filled. And you youngsters, professionals, those who are taking a professional career can fill up that place and make India real proud and a phenomenal country as part of a sporting culture, bringing that sporting culture into the system and make India proud, and at least win Olympic gold medals, not medals or just went and participated and come back. Because there is a wrong saying always when I was in school and doing my athletics and other things involving other sport, during the prize distribution ceremony, this is general. I think even it's happening now. We always set a defeatist mindset in the youngsters. We have amazing talent and we don't nurture that. One of the key things what anybody, most of the chief guests will say is, it doesn't matter whether you win or lose. Best thing is to participate. That is a wrong message you are sending to people. You cannot just participate in anything like a herd. No, you go to a tournament or you go to a professional college or professional course or anything, you go there to win. Winning is everything. End of the day, winner's words take more value than the person who participated or just ran. That's reality of life. So we need to understand that, get a more killer instinct in our system. We do have, but that has to be harnessed well. Very important, and loads to talk, but due to time constraint, I think I have to zip up now.
Yes.
And thank you so much for listening patiently. And any questions, you can send it to skill labelers. They'll be able to guide the things to me.